what's going on? So today we have Alex Simone. He's going to teach us about training at every level, how he would love to work with Bryce Harper for free, and how Hooters is the spot to eat. Hey, what's going on? It is Joe at True Warrior Ascension, and I'm here with Alex Simone. He is one of the guys that I definitely follow, especially when it comes to baseball performance. Honestly, I don't think there's a better guy. He's played at every level of the game. He has trained at every level of the game, and we are very, very lucky to have him. Alex, thanks for joining us.
Happy to be here, man.
For sure. I want to go over just some things with you. I finally wrote them down. Thank you for your suggestions. I'll make sure we get these questions firing, and this video will be shorter than the others. But if you could, just a quick history on, kind of how Simone Performance started and things like that.
Yeah, so, obviously I started my baseball career in 7th, 8th grade. I got cut 7th and 8th grade, and, I didn't train, I didn't do anything to, improve my game. And then, training over the course of the next few years in high school, I got a lot better. To make a really long story short, I experimented on different training methods, saw what worked, what didn't work, did a lot of the gimmicky stuff you see on, websites and TV. It didn't work, obviously, and then, once I got older, I finally realized what worked, and, I improved my game and, got a professional contract out of it, and from there, once my playing career got over with, I saw how many people I could help, and I just wanted to keep, helping more and more people. So,
gotcha. So your mission is when when the playing stopped, your mission was just to make sure that you were able to kind of, direct the next gen.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that. That's really, really dope. Again, thank you for coming. So we'll definitely just kind of get into the questions and get you rocking. One of the things that, especially with athletes in baseball, I'm seeing is that they start the season, a certain weight, and they lose a ton of weight throughout the year. What are some things that you're doing to kind of focus on body composition? As far as like, are you training them nutritionally?
Yeah.
Like
so I think
come in at a higher body fat, or how does that work?
I think the nutrition is huge. Obviously, well, first off, the nutrition and in-season training. I think a lot of the athletes who lose a lot of weight in season because they're not training. I think any kind of athlete, and whether it be a pitcher or a position player, they need to be training at least, I would say position player 2 to 3 times a week. Okay. Starting pitcher, obviously they can get a lot of good training in, but I think in-season training is huge. Nutrition also has to be huge. So, I'm big into the, eating every 2 to 4 hours based off what you did or what you're about to do.
That's Dolce, right?
Dolce, yeah.
Okay,
cool. Mike Dolce was on my podcast.
Yeah, for sure.
Mike Dolce's preaches some super simple principles, and I preach them with all the guys or all the clients I work with online, and it works really well. I mean, obviously I want my athletes going into like spring training or going into the season not as heavy as possible, because when I went to wherever I was going to, like into my seasons, I was heavier, and I didn't lose as much weight by doing the principles that I just talked about.
Okay, for sure.
If that makes sense. So I don't want them going in like I would go in, right now my weight is like 175, but I would go into like my baseball season at 185.
It's a massive 175, let me just throw that out there. Massive 175.
But I would go into my baseball season like 185, and then I would eat well, I would know what I was doing nutritionally, so I would kind of stay at that weight, I wouldn't lose. I mean, you're gonna lose a couple pounds, but you can't I don't think you should just eat as much as you can before the season to put on as much weight as you possibly
100%.
can. I think if you're eating 5 to 6 times a day, and those principles are you have sound nutrition principles, then you'll be fine. It's just you can't miss meals. People miss meals in season because they're at the field all day. They're not prepared. They're lazy. So just
definitely preparation with the meals and consistent training throughout.
Yeah,
so one of the things that I've heard, and I honestly don't agree with, is just get calories, head to McDonald's and just get them in. Is that something you would not preach? Really?
No, I don't think. You got to think about it. Your body. Everybody say, it's funny you say that, because parents are always like that, oh, I try to just give them ice cream and McDonald's, and no, that's not where your body needs to grow. It needs whole nutrient dense foods to grow.
Exactly.
So that's what you need to give it. you're gonna, if you just eat McDonald's all the time and you're training, you're just gonna get fat. That's not what we're going for. We're going
exactly.
For
Thank you so much for saying that. And listen, this guy does this every single day. He works with baseball athletes specifically. Please don't just go to McDonald's and eat tons and tons of calories. I'm talking to someone specifically. He knows who he is. That honestly is huge for me. I really appreciate that. So the training in season, for sure, the strength training, and obviously just making sure we don't miss meals. That sounds
I
like
think
the
the nutrition's huge, man.
Gotcha.
Both of them are huge. I think nutrition, even in off season, man. If you want to put on muscle, if you want to get stronger, you have to eat. You have to eat good food that your body needs to grow. Yeah.
Nutrient-dense food.
Exactly.
What was it? I think from the podcast I heard it was lean, green, clean. Is that what Dolce said? I want to say it was lean, green, clean.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, for sure. Right. I'll definitely link his podcast, and I mean, again, you can find him everywhere. We'll make sure to link him up. So you train at every level, pretty much, right? Are we just? I mean, I know you train a lot of pros.
Oh, like pro? Yeah.
Exactly, at every level.
Yeah. So
okay.
Like like youth kids,
for
high
sure.
school, college, and pro.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So with that, I'm curious. Let's say youth to high school. What are some trends that you're seeing of guys coming to you, guys or girls, coming to you, and they really need work on at that level? Is there a consistent thing?
Like
is it just strength and size?
Yeah. I would say I think all of them are weak. And I think actually I was just talking to a parent today that, was wondering why I didn't program in his kids' program like any sprinting and med ball throws. And I'm big into med ball throws, sprint work, and all that stuff.
A lot of rotational stuff.
But at a young age, like youth and high school age, you just need to get stronger. It's more like just taking it as an example of like a sprint. The more force you're going to apply to the ground, the farther, the longer your stride is going to be. The longer your stride is going to be, fewer steps you're going to take. Fewer steps you take, faster you're going to be. So like, you need to be stronger. Like strength. If you get stronger, you're going to get more powerful. And like the young kids, youth, and high school kids are just so weak that that's all they need is just
strength and size.
Basic. Yeah, I mean. It's it's really simple for beginners, man. I mean, they just need to lift.
And they adapt so quick. I mean, they get it so fast.
If a youth kid that's never lifted before works out 2 to 3 times a week and does like, in my opinion, what I did a lot this off season worked really well is I had my beginner athletes or my guys that just train like first or second year training.
For sure.
I had them do like 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and had them do their main compound lift every day would be a lower body lift. So like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we're just going off that, would be like a goblet squat, say Monday. Wednesday would be like a barbell hip thrust, and Friday would be a trap bar deadlift. And then I'd have them do like literally 4 sets of like 15, 20 reps where they're not using heavy weight, but they're just
training
repping it out.
Things like that.
Well, not per se. I mean, like the big thing, I just want them to get a ton of volume in at a lighter weight and just maintain and getting them in good positions. I think at a young age, you just want to get them in good positions and obviously just using a lot of reps, building up their muscle mass.
I like that. And I honestly think that transitions to something that there's a lot of discrepancy with, and I'm curious on your thoughts. How young do you start adding weights to, any athlete, but baseball specifically? I mean, there's a lot. I personally think that you can at a young age, especially because the growth plates haven't fully formed. There's some different. What's your ideology on that?
So I don't know about the whole growth plate thing. In my opinion, I think you should start a kid out training when they're committed to training.
Okay.
Like if they're committed to training 1 to 2 times a week, I'm fine with it. I think people forget I forget what it is. I think it's with every obviously every young kid's sprinting, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's like, I forget what it was. I don't want to say something wrong on here, but when you sprint, you're applying so much more force to the ground than you are on a 20-pound goblet squat.
For sure.
So I don't think honestly, if you're 8 to 12, I don't think there's a problem. But if I think you just have to be committed to training and you committed to the actual program.
Definitely.
If that makes sense.
Yeah,
I just think by sprinting you're applying so much more force than you're ever gonna apply with a dumbbell row. Yeah. Or something, you know what I mean?
That makes honestly that makes a lot of sense.
Especially
in those two.
With what I just said about the 15-20 rep scheme, we're not using heavy weight anyway. I just think they need to get in good positions using, I don't want to say insignificant weight, but
heavy but manageable.
Lighter weight.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that, I know we're looking at, you mentioned goblet squats. With baseball athletes in general, and then we'll move on to college athletes, what maybe they might be missing. With baseball in general, I really don't like putting, I'm not really a big back squat fan. Do you do goblets because of that, putting that shoulder in that weird position, or where are you on back squats for baseball athletes in general?
So I'm not a fan of back squat at all, honestly. I like the front loaded position, anterior loaded position, whatever you want to call it. For a lot of guys, a lot of pitchers that I've assessed the last couple of years have really flat thoracic spines, flat upper backs.
Sure.
So I like using goblet position or anything anterior loaded with a barbell, so they're able to drive good flexion in their upper back. So they have more flexion. It's just, I don't want to get all nerdy with it, but it's really important for a pitcher to have some flexion on a flat back.
Okay.
So
front loaded for you just seems to be the better trend, especially when it comes to pitchers.
Yeah, I just think back. I don't like that position for a lot of
weird,
people.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it's just not good.
And one bad rep could, jack you up.
And I don't want to there is an athlete that I back squatted with this off season, and that was just, he hasn't been hurt. This is honest opinion. I didn't want him to back squat. He knows that. But it worked. It worked for him. He used it a lot in the off season. He's never had a problem with it, and it really, he needed that to feel good going into spring training, and that's what we did. So you have to know too, as a coach, I think, where your athletes stand, and I don't want to say you have to always make them happy, but if
you have to be flexible.
I think the biggest thing for any athlete, honestly, or any trainer to know, outside of doing any of your prep work, whatever you want to do, is the athlete has to feel confident going into their season. Whether that's pro, high school, college, I want all my athletes going in there as confident as possible. If the back squat makes him confident and he's going to do all the other warm-up stuff I made him do in the off season, then I'm totally fine.
Okay. All right. So then moving on to the college level, what are these guys and gals not missing, but maybe they're coming to the college game not prepared for this, or not, loaded with this skill? You're saying
what are college kids missing? I guess.
Yeah. So when they come to you, what is the one thing for the few athletes I've worked with? It's flexibility, mobility. At that level, what is it for you? What do you see?
So I think high school wise, a lot of kids, and myself included, I'm sure we just do a lot of bodybuilding stuff when we're just starting out, because you don't know. For me, I didn't know at the time.
100%.
So that's what I would do. And obviously I'm getting a lot of college guys, and they just don't have any background in how to train properly, any movement, they don't move
functional
well.
movement,
as
opposed to just getting massive.
That's the biggest thing I've seen. They just haven't been able to move well, just because I haven't done any movement based stuff, or I don't want to say any movement patterns wrong, but I would say 80% of guys, when I first see them in college, if I haven't seen them before, is just their movement is off, and they just are doing exercises incorrectly. And that's just from not being taught properly, I think.
For sure. So really just corrective movement, you correcting movement, making sure they're doing them correctly, and then the functional side of things?
Yeah, just basic movement patterns.
Okay. Any that come to mind, that happen regularly? Is it the squat pattern? Is it do you bench a lot with the athletes?
So benching, I don't bench with any pitchers. I just don't think there's a need for it. I don't think there's a purpose.
Okay. Even dumbbells? No dumbbells?
Oh, no, I do dumbbell bench.
All right.
Not barbell. I don't do any barbell with pitchers.
Got you.
Position players, I bench. Not all the time. In a 4 to 8, no longer than 8 weeks at a time. I'll cycle it in and out. Honestly, college guys, they're gonna bench. I'm not gonna they're gonna bench. They're gonna do bicep, triceps. I'm not gonna stop. They're gonna do it on their own if they're not doing it with me, is what I'm saying. So what do I want to do? I want to put them in a good position, do the exercise correctly. And honestly, I don't have any problem with it if it's done for a 4 to 8 week window. I just don't think they should do it 2 times a week. Every week for 16 straight weeks.
It's just insane volume. It's just insane volume.
I do that
Looking
now,
to get
but
big.
Come on, I'm not playing anymore.
Exactly. Actually, that's a question I had for you for sure. So with that, is that because you don't want to build the chest too much to with throwing, or you just don't see it as a need?
Honestly,
for the sport?
I don't think any of these guys. I've trained some guys that are. I trained a guy that's a 400-pound bencher. Not kidding. So he went to a really good school. University of Buffalo they got rid of their baseball program, but they had a really good strength coach, Nate Harvey, and got a lot of guys strong. And honestly,
a lot of powerlifters too.
Yeah,
they're not super massive bodybuilder type. I was just curious if that was.
Yeah,
the reason
I'm not. No, honestly. I mean, I never had a problem with a guy who's gotten their chest too big. I mean, yeah, it might happen, but I've just never.
I'm waiting for problems like that.
I haven't came across it yet.
I'm waiting for problems like that. I just want to get. I'm just too massive. I'm sorry. So with then I guess moving to the pros, is there a lot of things that you're noticing? Is a trend that's off, or are you just fine tuning at that level?
In terms of like training, like how?
Yeah, training. Like, are guys coming to you with this or that? I mean, at that level, for them to get there, they have to have a certain level of preparation, obviously.
Well, yeah, I think at that level, like pro level, it all comes down to it's all specialized based off like. You know, I'll look at a guy. I think the biggest thing is like looking at guys' mechanics on the mound. If I'm working with a pro pitcher or like a hitter, seeing what they do well in their swing or their mechanics, adjusting that based on like fixing movement patterns. Okay. So it's really specialized. I do a lot of like usually at the pro level. What I've noticed is all those guys are super strong. So I don't do too much strength work. I know if you've been following me, you've probably seen my heavy hand-assisted split squats I've been doing. I know I just contradicted myself, but like that's the like one strength exercise I did per week. I didn't do much strength stuff with the pro guys. We're doing a lot of like power and speed stuff. I want to get them as powerful and as fast as I possibly can.
So almost the opposite of like the youth. So you kind of like transition.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, I mean, like if I have a guy that can, I mean, dude, like honestly, like I have a guy that can deadlift probably 550, 600 pounds. Like, what do I need to do? Like, am I gonna get him up to 615? Like, what's the point? You know what I mean?
And
like,
at that level, what's the difference on the field going to be? Even
exactly. I want to make them more powerful, more explosive, and more fast at that point.
I like that.
You know what I mean?
I like that. Setting that spectrum, kind of seeing like that from the youth, just working on strength, and then transitioning to like the more skill set. I mean, I can see that very clearly. That's real dope. Thanks for that. Yeah. With the actually no, I want to transition then to myths, baseball myths. What are some of the things that coaches, trainers are doing that we probably want to get rid of? I know you're like visceral to long distance running. Like I know that's just one, like you just throw it in the bag.
Yeah, that's one for sure.
What are some other baseball myths that you think, as coaches that you're seeing and strength and conditioning coaches, maybe we should just minimize the usage, like something that...
So yeah, I think long distance, obviously, I think there's so many more better options to build up aerobic capacity other than that. I think that's just...
Now we say other options like circuit training?
Yeah, like I posted about that.
Okay.
You follow me, so you know. I posted a movement. I just think movement circuits are a lot better option.
Okay.
It's pretty much where you just build mobility-based circuits based off. I like basing them off the individual that I'm working with, and then they're literally just moving through, improving their movement quality. You can target some arm care, core stability drills, whatever you want to do, and they're just moving for 30 to 45 minutes straight. And I mean, I actually got a couple messages from people when I posted that circuit last week, and they're freaking gassed from it, man. And they don't understand, like, you're going to be tired from that. You're using, if you're using it, it's usually total body movement. So
get rid of pulse. Just no.
Yeah,
pulse.
I just think there's so many better options. I don't know what you're doing, but anyway.
Yeah, I got you. So besides the long distance running, what else that you're seeing?
I think like a myth, and I'm not saying this. I love. Alan Jaeger, he's great. He was on my podcast. I love him. Great guy. And he has. I think there's some great arm care exercise you can do with the J bands that a lot of baseball pitchers use. J bands are called at the field.
Okay. Is that the one like they're coming?
Yeah. Well, they're doing like some rotator cuff stuff with it, all that kind of stuff. I think they're great. I think J bands are great. The problem is a lot of athletes do the exercises wrong, and then I'm just sick of athletes always telling me, oh, they do J bands, their arm's fine. Like that doesn't mean your arm is healthy.
Just because you're doing J bands.
Yeah. It's just everybody's shoulder's different, obviously, and you doing a band exercise doesn't mean it's healthy. Again, not knocking the J bands because I use them all the time. A lot of the guys I have use them at the field,
but just not that.
Just not like I just hate hearing people say that, oh, you're doing J bands, your arm's fine.
But you're good.
That's one of my pet peeves.
J bands, okay. So I guess counter to that, what would you suggest are some things that could help in addition to the J bands?
So I've talked about it before. I think I need to put together, glad you reminded me, I need to put together a little arm care circuit people can do at the field. But I think I think in season you want to get, because you said at the field, I think in season you want to get your low trap activated, because your low trap, upper trap, serratus are a force couple that help upwardly rotate your shoulder blade when you get to a position of ball release or you're laid back or you're your arm slot. So it's important your shoulder blade upwardly rotates properly to accommodate those positions. So I think, you know, any kind of serratus drill, again, I posted one on my Instagram, any kind of low trap or
serratus drill, low trap, okay.
Low trap drill, one of my favorites is, actually I posted one last night, the half healing J-band Ys, speaking of J-bands, done correctly though. A lot of people do it wrong. I have it posted on my page, done correctly. And then another one you could do, forearm wall slide. You don't need any special equipment for that one. That's you're on the wall. I'll send you a video if you want to link it or something like that.
Yeah, for sure.
All on my page.
Forearm wall slide?
Well, yeah, I call it forearm wall slide with upward rotation lift off. So you're sliding up the wall, and then you're going to.
Oh, I have seen. I haven't seen it on yours, but I think I have seen.
Yeah, it's a popular exercise, really good one. But yeah, I have that posted up.
Okay. So the J bands and the long distance running, kind of the only two, or there?
No, I mean, again, like I want to make this clear. I'm not ripping J bands because Alan Jaeger's a great fan.
I get it.
Great friend. I like him a lot. I like the stuff he does.
He's still your homie. That's just not the only thing for arm care.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody's arm's different. Everybody's going to require different things. But,
Gotcha.
I'm trying to think this, man. I don't know.
No worries. And if you come back to any, we'll definitely run through some. So I guess I want to be. I coach some baseball athletes now. I definitely want to get even more versed in it, and that's your bread and butter for baseball. What are some? I guess with the. You talked about assessments earlier, so I don't know. It sounds like do you use the FMS at all? Or what do you use for assessments?
I use some of the FMS.
Okay.
I kind of use, I interned at Cressy Sports Performance in Jupiter, Florida, actually.
Okay, it sounds familiar. Yeah.
In the summer. So I use their assessment. We assessed a bunch of, pro pitchers, college pitchers, high school pitchers, all that when I was down there. So I used their assessment.
Okay. So it's kind of like their own hodgepodge.
Yeah, it's more so like an orthopedic assessment, to be honest. Like I'll get an athlete on the table. I'll check their hips and ER, IR, check their shoulder range of motion.
Okay.
I'll check their lat length, and then I'll have them do some overhead squats, overhead lunge walk, check their ankle mobility, all that kind of. I mean, there's a bunch of them, but yeah, I use some stuff from the FMS, like trunk stability push-up. I like that one.
Have you heard of the 3D maps?
I haven't, no.
Okay, so it's similar. I'm trying to get certified probably in both. I like 3D maps just because it's got more of a standing. It puts you more of like an athletic movement.
What is that? What is like?
I can't remember who does it, but all the 3D maps does. It's just another assessment, and then it puts you in positions more. At least I think more athletic. FMS is kind of like a weird. Some of it's sitting down. Some of it. This puts you in more standing positions, more bilateral positions than the FMS. And if you knew about it, I was going to just kind of pick your brain on the difference in the two.
Yeah, I know. For me, like that assessment, like Cressy's assessment that I use, gives me all the information I need for an athlete. And then also, I'm writing an individualized program based on that assessment. Also, like I think the best thing for coaches or me as a coach personally, like anything I write down usually, and the athletes I know that I train know this, like I'll change everything based on the day, just because like I'll find out through different loaded movements how or what an athlete will compensate with or what exercise might be better. So
you have no problem just changing on the go?
Well, like sometimes I'll learn something that I didn't see in my initial assessment that I'll need to obviously change an exercise.
Without doubt.
Like some athletes won't tell me. Like I had an athlete actually 2 weeks ago that didn't tell me he had hernia surgery like 3 months ago. I had him do a hip thrust and he goes, "Oh, I feel my hernia." So it's kind of like I have to change the exercise.
Yeah, 100%.
Especially he didn't tell me that after I said, after you're asking athlete previous injury history and all that kind of stuff.
Definitely.
Sometimes they forget that, but
definitely.
Yeah.
Where do you get most of your info? Like when you're researching new things, when you want to learn about, like, is there a certain source that you go to, or you just kind of like find it?
So like things I've read, I'm a big Charlie Francis guy.
Charlie Francis?
He worked with Ben Johnson, the Olympic sprinter, the Canadian guy.
Okay.
Tested positive for a lot of steroids.
Yeah, I got you.
But Charlie Francis is one of the best coaches of all time.
Okay.
James the Thinker Smith.
James the Thinker Smith?
Yeah, his stuff is like extremely complex, I think. He's very, very smart. Little tough to read first starting out, but like once you get into him, he's one of the best in the field, in my opinion. Obviously, Eric Cressy, big into his stuff. And I'm trying to think who else.
Those are
Cal Dietz. I love triphasic training is great too. That's some of my ones that.
And don't forget Alex Simone. Like, let's just throw that one in there for this one. Hey Jay, do me a favor. At 30 minutes, it'll stop recording, so that red light goes away. Thank you, Jay, by the way. Jay, you're the greatest for coming out and helping me out today. Last minute. And then we talked about we talked time about the myths, though. I was just asking about like common mistakes that maybe make you cringe, but you kind of touched that on the myths.
Yeah, I think another something that makes me cringe, like in the weight room, if I see another trainer, is when they have a younger youth athlete doing an exercise that is way like complex or just, you know what I mean?
So they don't have the basics for that movement.
No. I mean, they're butchering it, and the coach is
just letting it go.
Just letting it go.
But it looks cool on the internet. So when I post it, it's supposed to look cool, or it looked cool, and that guy was doing it. So of course we had to try it today.
Yeah. But that's my pet peeve, like just making high school and youth athletes doing movements they're not ready for yet.
Gotcha. So keep it basic and then build up as you can.
I mean, they have their whole life to lift weights.
Which makes sense.
You gotta realize that. Yeah.
For sure. So a couple quick questions from some of the guys. Well, yeah, some of the guys that came in as viewers. BM Susi 22. He asked, "What do you do to help?" Well, you said this was kind of a tough one, but fixing shoulder impingement in pitchers. So if someone comes to you with a shoulder impingement, or maybe even after just shoulder surgery, obviously assessment matters, but what are some things you're looking for or thinking already about doing to help them improve?
Yeah, well, I guess the assessment's huge. I mean, but number one, before I even talk to them, or after I talk to them, it's, are they cleared? If they're impinged, I'm referring out. Like, that's beyond
100%,
my scope on that point. So honestly, I've only worked with like 2 guys that have been cleared after a shoulder injury, and they're all different. They all need different stuff because, like I said, like everybody's different. Their posture's completely different. So there's not like 4 specific exercise you should do coming off a shoulder injury.
So most important is going to be the assessment after they're cleared.
Yeah. Again, I would never work with anybody that's still, in discomfort or impinged. Like they need to be referred out to a doctor first.
Franklin Jennings asked, "How do I get huge and stay functional?" So how do I get massive and stay functional?
I think you just have to train. That's number one to get huge.
Train and eat.
Train and eat, like we talked about, and you need to be doing some mobility work. So
mobility.
I like target. Like what I do is I put together, a foam rolling routine based on the specific athlete. Then I'll go down to their, their, I don't want to say correctives, but their specific mobility exercises that they need or best fit for their body.
Okay.
And then they'll go through their workout every day. If you're moving really, really bad and you're stiff, then I might put some mobility into your training session as well. As like a second or like a third exercise in the order. And then you could add even mobility circuit day. I have it posted on my page, like we talked about before, where you're just, instead of just sitting down one day as an off day, you're doing
the mobility if you can.
Exactly. I think that, but with mobility stuff, you just have to do it. Like, you have to do it. It's not going to just happen overnight. Like, your mobility's not going to change overnight.
That's a longer process sometimes than the strength gain.
Yeah, you have to just do it, and that's the hardest part. Nobody wants to
for
sit
me,
there.
My flexibility mobility is horrendous.
Yeah.
Horrendous, and that's one thing I've been working for months, and still it's improved. But you
just have to keep doing. You have to keep doing.
Without doubt, keep at it. So definitely keep mobility, like you said, and then work those days. So do you suggest even full days of mobility on the off days? Not full days, but like just workouts.
Oh yeah.
Got you.
Like I would do a full body rolling routine based on specific areas you're tight in, and then I would do the mobility circuit day.
Okay.
Just pick like different mobility exercises that are best fit for your body, your needs, and then just run through them in a circuit. You're gonna get a great aerobic effect from it. You're gonna sweat. You're gonna burn some fat, and you're going to improve recovery from your last training sessions, and you're going to improve mobility.
Nice. I actually just had my buddy, one of the guys I trained, Wilbert, shout out to Wilbert, great guy, Eastlake High School, kill it, do the Spider-Man knee extensions that you do.
Oh, the Spider-Man lunge?
Yeah, the Spider-Man lunge, those are insane. I mean, just awesome.
That is my favorite exercise.
Awesome.
I post about it all the time.
Yeah, and that's definitely one of my favorites for sure. That I've definitely one of the nuggets I've taken from you. And actually, with Franklin's question, how important is it to be huge in baseball? Is that really something that you need? I mean, it looks good to scouts, I'm sure, but.
Oh man, I was just at the Yankee game over here, and I watched Aaron Judge hit a ball extremely far, and I
and
watched Giancarlo Stanton do the same thing. So I mean, like, yeah, I mean, I don't think you need to be bodybuilder big, but yeah, I think you should get as strong as you can. I don't know why you wouldn't. I mean, I think it's also I mean, you got to do it in a safe way. Obviously, you know.
Yeah.
Like I said, you're not
100%.
I wouldn't turn into a hardcore power lifter, but I mean, yeah, I think, you know, strength is the game. If you want another good read that I forgot on here, Westside Barbell, Louis Simmons, I was big into him. He helped, like, just reading his work helped me a lot, and I think, like, I use a lot of his practices as well in my training, depending on the athlete. But, you know, I think, you know, strength is strength is the key. Obviously, everything else, movement's most important. Obviously, I always say that's important for every athlete. You can't move, you can't play.
Form to function.
But yeah, I mean, strength's huge. So
gotcha.
Yeah, I think you just.
So this one I'm gonna not answer for you, but but Chan asked, what are some things that in-season workout, or what are some in-season workout plans that Alex would suggest? Let me help you out. Real simple. I listened to his podcast. He does a good, I want to say almost 40 minutes on in-season workouts. I mean, start to finish. He talked, I mean, if you're a pitcher, he goes over what some days could be for you. If you're a position player, I would definitely, and we'll definitely link the podcast in general. I mean, a good in-depth 40 minutes. Do you want to throw in just a few nuggets on in-season? Or, I mean, that really covers it.
I mean, I tried to cover everything I possibly could.
And you did everything.
But yeah, definitely check out that podcast. I want to just hope, I got the most downloads out of any of my podcasts on that one. But I think that'll answer all your questions. But I mean, in-season training, quick, I guess I give you my quick guidelines.
Okay.
You know, I don't think no med ball throws in season. If you want to do some before, you know, at the end of your warm up before you play a game, I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. Doing a couple, you know, med ball throws, just prime your nervous system.
For sure.
No sprinting in season outside of playing your sport. You're sprinting all the time on the field, whether it's practice or game, so you want to take away from your on-field output. So definitely wouldn't sprint outside of playing your sport. Movement quality, most important in season. If you don't move, you can't play. Usually the most injured athletes are the ones that can't move well. And then, I forgot my last, so you need to lift heavy in season. I'm seeing some awesome results in my high school athletes. Actually, the last couple weeks they're in season.
I 100% agree with that too.
They're even getting stronger now. So I think you need to do like a 4 sets of 5 rep scheme, or a 6 sets of 3. But I go more in depth on that in the podcast.
I mean,
so make sure you check
really good podcast for sure. I mean, I listen to a lot of different, you know, Strength Matters. I listen to a couple different, and in season for baseball, easily the best that I've heard so far. Actually, someone asked about adding velo. Are there some exercises specifically? Are there certain muscles that we should be working? Adding velo, what are you looking for there?
So that's the hot question. That's the question I get the most. Honestly, I get it. It seems like always when I get that question, it's from a kid that's like really weak.
Okay.
And, I think, like we said before, like if you get stronger, you're going to throw harder. I actually had a high school kid I worked with online, to give you guys a little example. One of my online clients that he threw 78 in September. Now he's like mid to upper 80s. We didn't do any power work. He did his like 1 day of like light sprinting because I wanted him to do some kind of sprinting, but all strength work 3 times a week. And he ate right, and he went up, you know, 8 miles an hour.
Was there also weight gain with that as well?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, he put on like 20-30 pounds too.
Really?
So he stuck to his nutrition principles. Wow. And I mean, those are the 2 huge ones, I think. You know, I just think kids don't want to put in the work. I'm not calling this kid out, like, I don't know if it's him, but I'm just saying, like, I think that's the biggest thing. Kids don't want to put in the work.
Or they just don't know.
Yeah,
or
they don't know.
Too.
Yeah, they don't know. Yeah. Again, so I think those are the 2 big ones. And then, I mean, if you're as strong as you possibly can, if you're eating great, I think now it becomes like, now you got to improve your mechanics. I mean, that could be 100 ways at once. Yeah. So I don't really know. That's all going to depend on. Yeah,
so it could be velo, but for most athletes, or a lot of the athletes that you're seeing, it's just the size and strength and
I mean, if a young kid puts on 30 pounds of muscle, he's gonna throw harder.
Gotcha. So maybe at the college level and I guess higher, or even like high school and higher, it might just be your mechanics.
Oh yeah, definitely. If you can't get to strong positions, if you look at some of the high level arms, and I'm not saying you're going to throw like Aroldis Chapman, but if we look at him, I mean, if we look at his mechanics and that's how he throws so hard. Yeah, he's super strong and powerful, but he gets to positions that people cannot get to, and his mechanics that allow him to create so much velocity. So
then with Strosho, is it not all mechanics, but is it just fine-tuned mechanics? Because he's a smaller stature guy. It's not like he's coming down like Randy, from deep. Like,
so I'm not like super. I don't want to like speak on that because I don't know his. I haven't looked at him enough. I'm like big in. I don't know why. I just look up Aroldis Chapman a lot, and obviously he throws hard. But I'm not like I don't know him so much. But another thing I will say is, like, a lot of athletes are just born with elite level velocity, like elite level velocity, like they create elite velocity. So there's that too. Like, there's a pro guy I trained this off season that threw 90, 93 when he was a junior in high school. So it's just like without doing, or I don't know, it was like maybe even a sophomore, but it's without any training. So I mean, like, some guys are built with that. But
yeah, again, for sure.
Now he throws 97, 98. How do you do that? He got stronger, he got more powerful. So I think that stuff too, obviously, goes into play.
Listen, Alex, you've really helped us out. Me out. I definitely feel like you've definitely helped out the viewers with kind of the questions. I mean, this is what they wanted to know, so I really do appreciate it. I want to ask you a quick few questions that I was interested in. Baseball related, but a little bit more fun. Is there a pro that you would want to train, and why? Like, is there a pro that's in the game right now that you would want to train, and why is that?
Man, that's a good question. I'd want to train Bryce Harper.
I saw that. I saw him on the story yesterday.
Yeah, I'm a big,
just going deep.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm a big Bryce Harper fan.
Okay.
Bryce, if you're watching.
Yeah, let's link it up. And you're in DC, right?
No.
You're not in DC?
My dad actually is, but I'm not.
Okay.
No.
I thought you were in DC.
No, I want to be.
Yeah.
Soon. But no, I'm a huge Bryce Harper fan. I followed him in high school. I mean, he hit some absolute bombs. Love watching his swing.
We gotta get you a Bryce.
I'd train him. I would train Bryce. I'll train you for free.
For free? Did you hear this?
For years.
For years.
For years. Man.
Okay.
Your whole career.
Favorite fat kid food? Like, is there a food? It could be a treat. It could be savory. Like, what is your go-to? Either chicken wings or my mom's cookies, man. Your mom's cookies or chicken? What?
Chicken cookies.
If you're eating chicken wings out, where the best? Where's your spot?
Probably Hooters. Not gonna
there we
lie.
go.
Hooters wings are good.
So now, I know
haven't had them in a while.
I know you laughed because of the answer, but my daughter, she's 5, will not eat wings anyplace else.
Really?
Loves Hooters.
Good for you.
Yes, it is. What favorite music artist or music to listen to in the gym? Like either with your athletes or just with yourself.
I have to say this because all the guys that I trained this offseason lift heavy weight to this. So I have to. And I myself now keep in mind, if any of you guys look this up, I'm not a psychopath. I just listen to this when I lift heavy weight. It's the one
this
song.
This is scary.
Omerta by Lamb of God is the jam.
Omerta by Lamb of God.
Yeah, you might. It's, again, I don't listen to that hanging out or anything like that. I'm listening to that when I'm at a 1 rep max or gonna lift really heavy.
When you're about to just go
and
nuts.
That all came from training the athletes that are
Omerta by Lamb of God.
Psychopaths and lift heavy weights.
We're gonna try and I love that. I'm definitely gonna check that out on the way home. I got iTunes Music.
I don't know if you should do that.
I got iTunes Music. And then the last question. Actually, I just put it down and forgot. Do you train yourself the way you train the athletes? Are you mostly like functional baseball, or are you just let me get to 175 massive? I mean, that's my guess.
No, I train myself just like I train my athletes.
Okay.
Honestly, it's funny, like you say that, like if my athletes are in like a speed phase, like speed phase or peaking phase, like once they're a month away from playing or like a couple weeks from spring training, they're doing all like fast stuff. They're not doing like everything like in terms of like their strength work, power work, everything. I want them to do everything fast and quick. So like myself, before I gave them their program, like I try all the movements on myself.
Gotcha.
I never give an athlete anything that I haven't tried. So
done. Yeah.
I still sprint twice a week. I still do med ball throws and jumps twice a week. I do everything my athletes do. I don't do like straight strength work, lift like a bodybuilder. I move better and feel better when I do, my sprints and power work and all that stuff. So I just train like my athletes.
So you're still pretty agile. Now, let me ask you. I know you're a couple years out.
Yeah.
Well, if you got in the box, like you think you could
Man,
do some work?
Listen,
I mean, you train like an athlete still. What's up?
I hit with the guys, man. In the off season, like they know. I mean, I wish I had.
He said, "Come find me." He said, "Come find me."
I wish they had me on video because.
Oh, that's so dope.
If one of the guys, Nick's watching, like Nick knows, I took his bat, haven't swung in a year and a half or so, and roped the ball up the middle, dropped the bat, I was done for the day.
And
so
just
like,
mic drop.
Yeah, exactly.
This is why you're here, guys. That's what he said.
Yeah, I can.
This is why you're here.
I can still swing it a little bit. Like I'm not obviously. In
yeah,
shape
for sure, man. That's awesome.
I can still swing it.
Still love it though.
I tried. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Forever.
Forever.
Hey Alex, I really appreciate you coming through, man. Like that is really huge.
This,
we
awesome.
met outside of Steinbrenner after a game that he was attending. Randomly just found him and was able to link up with him, and he was
awesome.
kind enough to, take a lot of time out of his day. So definitely make sure to, like, where can we find you? Where are you posting most of your stuff? Like, where can they get the Alex Show?
So I think obviously the number one place is
IG.
Instagram. Yeah, I'm doing like a 365 days of new content to help people. So I'm on day I think 189.
Yeah, I'm about to say we're almost at 190.
I actually posted in the game tonight.
Perfect.
Had to miss a whole inning to post, but had to get the content out. So yeah, that's Instagram Simone SIMONE_baseball_performance. Should have made that a little smaller when I was first making it.
You got 30,000 followers. I think it was okay.
So that, and then I got Twitter, Simone Baseball, all one word, and then I think my YouTube's just Alex Simone, Snapchat, Simone's Baseball, and my podcast, which I'm really trying to go hard on here.
Apparently, because the content's awesome. Like, you've gotten some great people on. The stuff that you're doing by yourself is dope.
Yeah.
Definitely trying to follow in those footsteps because you kill it. Like, and honestly, you can check them out for yourself. I've definitely QC'd all of it, and the content is gold. It's quality information, quality video, quality pic. Everything honestly is gold, and we'll make sure to link all of that here in the description. Thank you for coming through. Thank you guys for paying attention, watching, and hopefully taking a few nuggets from this into your own training. But be well. We'll see you soon.